さまざまな要因の結果として社会的参加を回避し、6ヶ月以上にわたって家庭にとどまり続けている引きこもりは、有料の高齢者施設に暮らしているという73歳の男性。一体なぜなのか。
In case you didn't catch the subtitles, the gentleman mentioned in this video is 73 years old. He owns his own home. He's perfectly healthy, and yet he chooses to live in an assisted living facility for elderly aged people. The problem, of course, is hikikomori, and he is going to explain here why he moved out of his own home.
親子のいざかいがね、悲劇を招いたと。自分だってそういつなるかね。で、疲弊した結果ね、もう結末は惨めなもんだと。それだけは避けようと思った。
He's saying he was in misery living at home because he has a, and you can see at the top, 41-year-old son who is collecting things, or should I say trash, and the situation became so miserable that he just couldn't deal with it anymore, so he chose to leave the home and live in an assisted living facility. So before we see the conditions of the house that they're going to, this is information from the Nihon Keizai Shimbun from 2019. Chuko nen hikikomori 31 man nin, 610,000 middle-aged hikikomori. Hikikomori is defined as someone who stays at home for more than half a year. From age 40 to 64, there are approximately 613,000 hikikomori. Over 70% of those hikikomori are males. Of the 613,000, more than half of those hikikomoris have been so for more than 7 years. The number of hikikomori from 15 to 39 are 541,000. This is a breakdown by age, and what's really interesting is seeing how many of the hikikomori are in their 20s. That is over a fourth of the people who were polled. And the reasons why, almost all of them are related to work. You see, the biggest one is quitting work and just never going back, which is relevant, and we'll get to that relevance later in this video. Not having strong social relationships is second, also tied with illness. Didn't fit in at work is a 19%. Clearly, more than half of the people that became hikikomoris did so because they didn't want to work, or work didn't fit for them, or should I say, they didn't see any reason to continue working. So now they're going to visit the home with the television crew and see the conditions under which the hikikomori's son is living under.
息子との生活から逃れたい。それだけが理由で父親は施設に入所。今は週に一度、息子に生活費を渡す時だけ自宅に戻るようにしているという。
He's returning back to the house once a week to give living expenses to his son who's living in the house. And we're soon going to see the conditions under which the house look.
正面の家がそうです。
でもどこも閉めてますね。引きこもって何年もぐらいですか
？30ぐらいから引きこもったですから11年ぐらいですかね。
You see there, 30 years old is when he started being a hikikomori, and he's been one for 11 years.
父親から相談を受けた広岡さんは息子に会うため自宅を訪問した。しかしそこには想像を絶する光景が。
11 years it's been this way. 11.
もう僕もずっとそうですから。
これガッタもの腐敗させてるんですか？
そうですね。
すっごい腐敗臭。
ゴミの山を抜け、ようやくたどり着いたリビングに11年間この家に引きこもり続ける41歳の息子がいた。
特大の雲いるの分かる？これ普通の家じゃ絶対ないよね。お風呂何日か入ってないですか？
ですけども1年くらいは入ってないですけど。
うわー、ちょっと匂いすごいですねこれ。
It smells so bad that clearly he can't use the washroom when it looks this way and it smells this bad.
浴室や台所などあらゆる場所がゴミであふれている。ゴミの腐敗臭が原因で近隣住民からも苦情が出ているという。さらに
これ何？ 髪の毛。おお、ビッタ。これ自分で切りました？もしかして髪の毛。で、髪の毛自分で切った髪の毛ここに置いてる。
This also is a confrontation of a hikikomori, but this time he's not as cooperative.
こんにちは。若者教育支援センターっていうセンターの人間なんですけど、ちょっといいですか？話し合ってきてるんですけど。
He's announcing that he's from the special center that helps hikikomori, and you can see that the mom is leaving because she doesn't want to anger the son, and you can clearly see she's afraid of his reaction. Yeah, she says she's scared.
大丈夫ですよ。
母親は息子の声を聞いた途端怯え出し、
Yeah, she's scared when she hears his voice.
そして
開けちゃいますよ。
I'm going to open the door. Is that okay? If you open it, I'm going to beat you up or I'm going to kick you out.
さらに
何を興奮してるんですか？
Why are you excited? I was sleeping and you woke me up. You're just saying you're going to open the door. You don't mean it. Let's see if you really mean what you're saying, or is it just you using your mouth?
のかかった扉の向こうから粗暴な言葉をぶつけてくる。別のスタッフが穏やかな口調で話しかけるのだが。
いや、今日ちょっとお話が来てきたんですよ。ちょっとお眠り中、ちょっと大変申し訳ないんですけど。
Yeah. So you can tell that it's not always as smooth or as amicable as the first situation, and it is a big deal when some of the people who are ready to retire still have a live-in hikikomori. This is where I want to relate the story of hikikomoris in Japan to what I think are conditions ripe for breeding hikikomoris in America. You're going to see from this gentleman's story, the one that's living in the messy house, that his story is very relatable, is extremely relatable.
息子は都内の大学に進学したが、就職活動に失敗し、仕事に就くことができなかったという。
He graduated college, just so you can see that. He's a college graduate. He looked for work and he had difficulty finding work and he got discouraged and he stopped looking. That's extremely relatable. Here, the quote on the screen is from the son to the parent saying, "I never felt love from my parents."
大学を卒業後、
He finished
始めたアルバイ
college
トはどれも長続きせ
and he
ず、
couldn't keep a
11年前
part-time
から
job.
この状態に。
And for 11 years, working part-time jobs on and off, he's been living like this. And his father was working overseas, so he was basically living in the house by himself.
そして6年前に母親が亡くなってから、
And then 6 years previous to the filming of this, his mother passed away. And that's probably what was the final straw for him, where he just couldn't do it anymore. He decided to not put forth the effort anymore. This conversation sparked a lot of talk in a lot of different places. And listening to this conversation on the Breakfast Club and the call-in show, it revisits the reason why I think that this particular conversation is sowing the seeds for hikikomori in America.
Hello, who's this?
Vicky,
Hey, Vicky, good morning. Talk to us.
good morning. I appreciate Charlemagne's and the outlook on essential workers and just life in general. I live in Charleston, South Carolina.
843.
That's it. I'm a single mother of 4. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. My 2 boys are honor roll kids, athletic kids. I did not graduate high school. I take care of my children.
Damn.
I am a night auditor, full-time, and I do Uber to make my ends meet.
Now listen to the point she makes here, because this is a really important point in my opinion.
So when Ebony says the things that she says, it's it's a downer because you're saying that the little things that we do strive and do doesn't matter.
Nah, I
And
get it.
that's not, it's not right.
You heard the caller who has the 4 children and she's working 2 jobs and she's really doing her best to do right by her kids, said that the message she heard from Ebony Williams was kind of a downer because it basically said if you're not a certain level, why are you even bothering? You're not going to ever be good enough for certain people. And that hope is what gives people who are down and out the motivation to get back on horse. This gentleman here, he went to college. And when his mother passed 6 years ago, he said, I just don't have it in me anymore. And that hope is what makes people give life another chance. And you're going to see in the last 2 segments here, they're going to rebuild this kid back up so that he can get back to participating. But it starts with saying, you matter and your effort here is important.
のだが
これも家もう家ぶっ壊れてるので俺は一番心配なのぶっ壊れてるよもうだこうやって漏電なんかしたら本当に
The father's saying that you ruined the house. There's nothing I can do with this. And the son said, I'm going to get to it. And the father's disappointed. He's saying, we got to do something. We can't do this anymore. And here comes the point where they start to rebuild him back up by getting him to admit that he hit rock bottom and it's time to make a change.
現実逃避すんなよ。俺が話してんだからさ、こっち見てよ。
そして現実を突きつける。
自分はできるなんて平気でそういうこと口にすんなよ。できないから今こんな状態になってんだろ。腐敗した床、水道管、詰まった水道管。
Yeah, the pipes are bad. The floor is rotten. You're going to have to change the house. How much money is it going to take to fix a house? Do you have money to fix a house? Can you do it?
できねえだろっつの。やだのあだのうだの言ってる暇あったんだったらよ。な、自分の自立一歩でもどうやって進むか考えろ今。
説得から3時間。
And this is where they start the rehab. And I think this is really important because when there's hope, you can give people a chance to rehabilitate them and get them to get back into society.
捨てられた息子はようやくフリースクールの寮に入ることを受け入れた。
So this is a dormitory that has 37 people ages 14 to 47.
14歳から47
It's a
歳の
mixed
男女
dormitory
37人が
where
生活しているが、ここ5年で
they
中
went
高年
from
の比率が
5 years previous, they went from 1 or 10% of people that were over 20 that were hikikomoris to
急増。
70% of their
20歳以上になってい
residents
ると
are
いう。
over 20-year-old hikikomori reformees. And he's taking his first bath in a year.
1年ぶりに風呂に入り、ひげも剃った息子は、ここから社会復帰への道を歩み始めることになった。
And he's taking his first steps to reintegrate back into society. You heard his laugh when he was taking his shower. He was giggling because he had a good feeling for the first time in a year. And remember, this starts from here. People getting discouraged from work or not fitting in at work or not seeing the reason why they should work. And so when I talk about the conversation that we're dealing with, when you give people a sense of hopelessness, like they don't matter or they don't belong, it only takes 1 or 2 blips for someone to say, you know what, why should I even keep trying? The way that I see dating progressing in the West, if you are an average earner and you don't have any quote unquote swag about you, and you have 1 or 2 blips that happen to you that may discourage you, I think that the situation is very ripe for guys to end up hikikomoris. If you are in a situation where you feel isolated or you know someone that is, reach out to them and encourage them. Because this is a looming problem for more countries than Japan, in my opinion. Reach out to those who are looking for help. And if you are looking for help yourself, find a passion in life and put one foot in front of the other and keep moving in a positive direction, because good things are bound to happen, even if others don't deem you worthy enough to be on their level or social status. You are valuable and you matter. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.